Good evening and welcome to this evening's option evening. We will be starting very shortly. We're just waiting for everyone to join the meeting. Good evening to everyone that's joining us at the moment. We will be starting shortly. Can I just ask people, I just want to double check you can see all of the Broomfield staff here. So if you can see us all, can you just put your hand up and down briefly for me so that I can see that you can see us? Brilliant. I've seen someone can see us. That's great. Okay, we'll give it probably, there's still people coming in, so we'll probably give it 2 more minutes before we start. I've got someone there saying you can't hear me. Let me. Good evening, everyone. We will be. Okay, some people couldn't get the audio to work through the browser, but it can work through your phone number, so you may have to do that. Hopefully it will work that way. Got a few people saying hello, so hopefully they can hear us as well. You can't see all the teachers, only Mr. Travis. Well, you're very lucky to have a good view of Mr. Travis there. Hopefully when people start talking, you'll be able to see everyone else here, and I'll introduce everyone and we'll all be speaking this evening. I'm just going to give it 1 more minute and then we will start the evening. Brilliant. People that have struggled to get in are getting in now, so that's great. And I think it's about time that we should start. Yep. Good evening and welcome to Broomfield School's 2021 Options Evening. It's a little different to how we would normally hold things, but hopefully you'll get exactly the same level of information and have an opportunity to ask all the questions that you have. We aim for it to last about an hour. You'll be hearing from our head teacher. You'll be introduced to some of the key members of our leadership team, and we'll be talking you through the GCSE options process. At the end of the evening, through the questions box, the chat box, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask any questions. I've seen lots of you have already been finding that to speak to us. I'm Miss Bignell, School Business Manager, and joining me this evening, hopefully they'll give you a little wave if you can see them, is Mr. Travis, our head teacher. Miss Seymour, our Deputy Head, Miss Horman, Assistant Head Behaviour, Safety and Welfare, Miss Caridis, Assistant Head Teaching and Learning, and Miss Gray, you hopefully all know, your Year 9 Achievement Director. I'd now like to hand you over to Mr. Travis.
And a good evening from me also, and welcome to our virtual options evening. By way of introduction to this evening, I'd like to say a little about our GCSE programme and how one might be guided in choosing your options subject. Firstly, our GCSE programme. At its core is the English Baccalaureate, the EBAC as it's called for short. That includes English language, English literature, mathematics, double science, if I can call it that, Spanish, and history or geography. And in addition to this basis, you have to choose 2 option subjects. By offering the EBAC, we offer the subjects highly commended by Ofsted and the Department of Education. And this is so that you have a very firm academic base for your further studies, for employment, and indeed for life itself. Your option subjects bring further balance and breadth to your GCSE subjects. So next, how are you to decide in choosing the option subjects? Some find it very easy to choose, but most find it a bit of a struggle. And usually the difficulty is in deciding, is that there are actually too many to choose from. It's actually deciding which ones you want to choose. There are, I think, 3 important considerations to bear in mind. First of all, what are your future career plans? Do you know? But if you don't worry. At this stage, most pupils are not at all clear. The second point, what are you good at? It is often good to play to our strengths. And thirdly, what do you enjoy? If we enjoy something, it is a reward in itself, and we often excel at these things. However, having considered these 3, it still may be hard for you to choose. And when this sort of thing happens in life, we simply have to think hard, consult others, and in this case, consult your parents, consult your teachers, and finally, simply do your best. Whatever you choose, you can't go wrong, because all of the subjects that we offer are very good, and they're backed up by the core EBAC subjects. Now, before I hand over to Mrs. Seymour in a moment, I just want to spend 1 or 2 further moments on one final point. You need to understand that the most important thing for your success is not so much your choice of subjects, but how keenly you work in school and in your homework. All of the subjects that we offer, therefore all of the subjects that you choose, will be good whatever they are. What makes the difference is your application to them. The effort you make should always be strong. You should be working always to hit or exceed your targets, and in all of the subjects. And you should always hand in your work on time, including your homework. And this is true whether we are in school, and we hope to be back in school in the not too distant future, or whether you're working remotely from home. Now, it's not always easy to work hard, we know this, and perhaps it's particularly difficult at home without the motivation and the encouragement of your classmates and your teachers around you. But always remember that real success demands that we make the effort. And you will always, even during this remote period, have our full support and encouragement. So please continue to do your best, and don't lose heart if you find things difficult. So enjoy all of your subjects and enjoy your learning. Challenge yourself to do well. Gain knowledge, develop your understanding, become better at evaluation, develop your skills, including that of becoming an independent learner. And I'm not now just talking about your GCSE years, the starting of year 10. I'm talking about now at the moment, so that come year 10, you are ready to start those GCSEs. You already have the right frame of mind in respect of your studies, and you've developed the right habits. So that's enough from me. I'll now hand you over, I think it's to Miss Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. Travis. I'm Mrs. Seymour. I am Deputy Head at Broomfield School. As a school, we follow the national curriculum throughout years 7 to 11. So at Key Stage 3, your child has studied all of the subjects you would expect and has been able to use highly specialist rooms and resources for subjects like science, technology, for drama, for art and PE. And that continues into Key Stage 4. As Mr. Travis has already said, almost all our pupils study the Department for Education's preferred GCSE pathway, the EBAC, the English Baccalaureate. And then on top of that, pupils have 2 free options, which will give them 9 GCSEs overall in a wide spectrum of areas. And so throughout all years, we provide a broad and balanced curriculum that will fully prepare your sons or daughters for access to sixth form when they leave the school. We are a dynamic school. We're able to adjust quickly to change and the challenges of the modern world. Lockdown and COVID-19 has seen us develop our online teaching beyond the norm of many other schools, including teachers live streaming lessons from home into the classroom. This has also meant that we are bringing you this options evening virtually. Students have been receiving lots of support and guidance on the process so far and will continue to do so whilst they decide what they would like to continue studying. These examples from lockdown mirror how Broomfield operates every day, assessing the needs, prioritising pupils' education and well-being, and ensuring that our budgets are spent in the most effective way to benefit all our pupils. We are now going to share the PowerPoint with you and go through the process which Mrs. Karidis will start to talk you through.
Thank you, Ms. Seymour. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Mrs. Karidis, Assistant Head Teaching and Learning. As it's been mentioned already, we do prefer and we do expect our pupils to go down the EBAC pathway. So I just want to run through the core subjects in greater detail. So they will take English, English language and literature, and that's worth 2 GCSEs at the end of year 11. They will have a maths GCSE at the end of year 11, and it's combined science, which will give them 2 GCSEs by the end of year 11 as well. Should they wish to take triple science, where they have 3 qualifications of science, they can choose that as their option. For modern foreign language, we offer Spanish here at Broomfield, but pupils can take GCSE in their own language if they can do that. And some students may study support studies or take extra English, again, if it's required. Additionally, they would choose between history and geography, giving them a total of 7 GCSEs. But as part of the core curriculum, they are also expected to complete RE. And again, should they wish to take RE at GCSE level, they can do so. And also recreational PE. Again, should they wish to take a qualification in PE, they will complete a Cambridge National Qualification. And then on top of that, they will also complete programme studies in personal, social and healthcare education. And this is done via drop-down days during the 2 years, year 10 and year 11. I will now pass you over to Miss Gray, who will talk you through the options that we have on offer.
Good evening, everyone. We have 9 subjects that we offer for students to choose from. They are the following: Media Studies GCSE, RE as a full GCSE, Music GCSE, Drama GCSE, Art and Design GCSE, Technology GCSE. As Ms. Karidis already mentioned, triple science if they want to do 3 GCSEs in science. They can only do that if they are above age-related expectations in science. So there'll be some guidance from science teachers about that. And then we also offer 2 Cambridge National Qualifications, that's ICT and PE. So they are the 9 options that are on offer. Out of those options, the students are going to be asked to choose 3 subjects, of which 2 they are going to study. So they will make 3 options. Preferably, we'd like to give them the first 2 options, but we have the 3rd one there just in case we're not able to offer that for any reason. The only restrictions we have in terms of the selection is they're not able to pick both the Cambridge National subjects. They can only pick ICT or PE. They're not able to pick both.
Really important, and Mr. Travis mentioned this earlier on, that the students do pick subjects that they are able to do and able to access, rather than they want to do it because their friends are doing it, or they want to do it because they have a relationship with a certain member of staff or a teacher, because that may well not be maintained. What the students need to be aware of is the groups are mixed up quite a lot when it comes to their option subjects compared to the groups that they have been in previously. So they may not be in the same group as their friendship group that they're used to. So it's really important they're picking that subject based on their ability and based on a subject that they enjoy. Okay, how the timetable is going to work then, just to give you an idea of how that is spaced out. So English for two GCSEs, they have 8 hours over the 2 weeks. Maths also have 8 hours. Science have 10 for the 2 GCSEs. The Spanish will be 5 hours. Their history and geography will be 5 hours, and then their 2 option subjects will be 5 hours each as well. They will have 1 hour of RE that they study as part of their core. They will get a qualification at the end of that. They will get an entry-level qualification during the lesson. There is no exam in that. PSHE, as Ms. Caridas mentioned, is not part of their statutory curriculum requirement because we do it as drop-down days over the year. And then PE, they have 3 hours over the 2 weeks as part of their statutory requirement to complete. So they should get 9 GCSEs or 9 qualifications altogether, depending on whether they pick GCSE or the Cambridge Nationals once they finish year 11. Okay, I will pass you over to Miss Horman now, who's going to talk to you a bit more about the information and guidance that you can get through this process.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gray, and good evening, everyone. Just to move to the next step in this, it plays a very important part for you in order to be making the course that starts here.
Ms.
So
Horman,
currently, as it stands, the last few weeks, the pupils.
Ms. Horman, we keep losing you, so I think I'm going to ask someone else to take over this bit because you keep drifting in and out. So, Miss Gray, would you be able to carry on for us? Sorry about that, Miss Horman. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ms.
no problem
Gray.
at all. Thanks, Ms. Horman. Okay, information and guidance that is available to the students. So far, every curriculum area that is offering an option subject has made an assembly, which has been made available to the Year 9 students on Google Classroom. They've been issued over the last few weeks and they're recorded, so they're still there. The students are able to go back and watch them. And they're also going to be available on the Broomfield School YouTube channel. We will send a link to that tomorrow so you know how to get onto that easily. Having had lots of conversations with you and members of staff, having spoken to a lot of the parents over the last few weeks, I know lots of you have been talking to your students or children already, sorry, about those options. So thank you for that. If you haven't done that already, then please do have those conversations. That's really important in the next few weeks. Obviously, with it being virtual, it's not as easy as having those face-to-face conversations that we would normally have in school. But if the students or you do want to have any conversations with any particular teachers or their tutors about the options, they are able to contact them on Google Classroom. They can send a private message to them. If you would rather arrange it a different way, if you can email the school through the office at Broomfield email address, that would be really good. If you can put some information about there about what you might want to talk about, that would be really helpful so we can guide that in the right way and get to you as quickly as possible on that. I've also been doing live assemblies every Monday with the students. I've just been giving them Q&As and asking any issues that they've had. Lots of them have been contacting me through Google Classroom as well. Again, if you want me to have a conversation with you, that's absolutely fine. If you email the school again, I'm more than happy to give you a phone call to talk you through anything. Okay, a little bit about careers advice that we are going to offer. You want to go to the next slide, Miss? Okay, again, normally our careers advisor will be available in school to speak to the students, and as that's not possible at the minute, we do have career advisors on hand who can help out any students that might want some advice post 16. Students have been asked already on Google Classroom if they do want any particular advice, and lots of them have got back to me already and said that they would, which is brilliant. That's still open to them and they could submit that at any time. If you feel it will be of benefit for your child to have some, you can also email the school as well. Again, if you can say what specifically you would like, that would be really helpful so we can guide that in the right way, and then we can arrange for that to happen virtually over the next few weeks while the option process is going on. Okay, I'm going to pass you back to Mrs. Seymour now, who's going to talk you a little bit more about how to submit your option forms.
Thank you, Miss Gray. When it comes to submitting your option form, first of all, there's an option booklet with all the information we've talked through tonight, so you'll be able to look at that on the school website, and we'll be sending out a link to you with that on, so you can look at that, and it will also be put up on Google Classroom. There will be a form added to Google Classroom for your child to access, and they will be able to complete their option choices on that form. The first question they will have to decide is, do they want to study history or geography? So the first question will ask them to select either history or geography. And then after that, they will be able to make their choices for their 3 options. Now, we do ask pupils to put down 3 choices and to put them in order of preference. We will try to give students their first and second choice, but we can't always guarantee that. It does depend on how many students apply for which particular option. So we do ask that your son or daughter will make 3 option choices and list them in order of preference. The deadline for submitting the forms back to us is Friday the 26th of March. So you've got plenty of time. You'll be able to start submitting the forms from tomorrow, but I would suggest that you make sure that you are happy with the option choices you have made before you submit the form, because once the form is submitted, you will not be able to change those option choices. So please do take time to discuss it together, to look at all the information. If you need more information, please do ask your child to message their teachers or get in touch with the teachers so you can discuss that with them. The deadline, as we've already said, is Friday the 26th of March. After that date, any forms that are submitted after Friday the 26th of March are less likely to be able to get their first choice. But up until Friday the 26th of March, all forms will be treated equally. I'm going to pass you back to Miss Horman, I believe, to talk through a little bit more on careers advice.
I'm not sure if everyone can hear me now. This might be a quick one then from me, just to conclude this information PowerPoint. Now on the screen, you'll see a variety of websites. Please do visit them. I think it's really important to make sure that you have read enough and you've looked at a variety of sources out there that could help you with the choices you are making. And it's not just about the choice for next year and the year after that. This is really the start of your future. So good luck with that, everyone. This information will also be posted on your Google Classroom for your information. And I assume it will be in the booklet as well. Thank you very much. And I'll pass you over to Ms. Bignell. I think if there might be some further questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Horman. That is our presentation for you. We hope that we've given you lots of information about the options process, the options that are available, and what the next steps are going to be over the next few months. We are here now to answer any questions that you have, and I will be fielding those out to the panel. So if you just want to use the question box. So the first question we've got is probably for Miss Seymour, and it's, why can't we choose 2 Cambridge Nationals?
Because the government advice is that pupils should only follow one vocational course, and both of these are vocational courses, and we try to offer a curriculum in line with the government expectations.
And then the next question, possibly is Miss Seymour again. Do you have more chance of getting your choices if you submit your form sooner?
No, we will not be looking at any of the option choices before the date that you were given, which is the 26th of March. So as long as they're submitted by the end of the day on the 26th of March, they will all be treated equally.
Okay, and then the next question, they're coming in thick and fast now, the questions. So the next question is, could you pick history and geography?
At the moment, we are asking pupils to choose between history and geography, so you pick one or the other. However, there is the facility on the option form to note any subjects that you haven't been able to pick, and you could put down the other subject there. So if you put history as your first choice, there is space on the options form to say, if possible, you'd like to study geography as well in that space.
Okay, and this question, maybe Miss Karidis could answer this one. This is a science one. If you do triple science, would you have 15 hours of science every 2 weeks, or would you have, so you would have one lesson each day? So they want to know how the triple science would work in terms of their timetable, Miss Karidis.
Forgot to unmute there, everyone, sorry. Yes, if you do combined science, it's 10, and you have an additional 5 extra hours if you do triple as your option, and that would be across the 2 weeks. So you'll have your 10 plus an additional 5 across the 2 weeks.
Okay, the next question, maybe this might be a good one for Miss Horman. What are drop-down days? We've mentioned those for PHSE, I think, this evening. So what are drop-down days?
Okay, so the drop-down days all feed into the PSHE offer at Key Stage 4 for pupils at Key Stage 4, and because that's not on your timetable, we make sure you do get the offer, the PSHE offer, by having a drop-down day where you're not actually in your lessons doing academic work, but you are actually in a PSHE session, whether that might be something particular as a careers day as we get closer to college applications, etc., and talking about universities and next steps, or it might be something else, for example, anything around, I'm just thinking now what some, for example, revision sessions. There's a whole session for revision that we're currently giving to some of our year 11s, and that will support them and enable them to get really good results and prepare them for the exams. So those type of things all feed into subjects that you have on your timetable. Hope that answered your question.
And then maybe Miss Gray might like to take this one. How many subjects do we have to choose?
So you will be asked to choose 3 subjects as part of the process, but you will be doing 2 as your options. So on top of your core subjects that you're doing, English, Maths, Science, Spanish, History and Geography, RE, PSHE and PE, they're your statutory requirements. You will then do 2 additional subjects on top of that. So whether that be music and drama, for example. Obviously, if you're choosing RE or PE or triple science, that's on top of what your statutory requirement would be, as Ms. Karidis has just explained. So you would still do the same as everybody else, but you would do your option subject on top of that. So hopefully that explains a little bit about that. So 2 option choices you'll be doing all together.
Thank you, Miss Gray. Now this question's probably Miss Seymour and Miss Karidis because it's a science one again. There's 2 questions and they're kind of linked, so I'll sum them up in one question. We've got a parent asking whether or not it's advisable to speak to their child's teacher before they submit the form to see whether or not they should be taking triple science, or would be triple science be a good option for them. And another parent asking what's the criteria that we offer triple science.
Okay, so if I start and then Miss Karidis can add to that. So first of all, I would say yes, please do encourage your son or daughter to ask their teacher if they think they would be suitable for triple science. Because the triple science course covers, a little bit of some of the work that's covered at A level, we advise students that to do triple science, they should really be working at an S5, S6. So we would expect students to be working at those sorts of grades if they're going to attempt the triple science course. I would like to just say that if students do combined science, they can still go on to do A-levels at sixth form colleges. All sixth form colleges will take pupils with combined science to do A-levels in the sciences of biology, chemistry and physics. So they will not be disadvantaged in any way. I don't know if Miss Caridis wants to add anything to that.
Yeah, no, I was going to say exactly what you just said, Miss Seymour. Because a lot of pupils ask us the same thing, if I can still do A-levels if I do combined. Yes, you can. The only difference with triple, if I'm to be honest, is there is, like Miss Seymour said, AS kind of subjects on there, borders on an AS level, so it will prepare you better when you go on to do A-level. However, you still can do it successfully on combined.
And actually, you've just answered about 2 or 3 questions there about can they go on to do physics A-level if they don't do the triple. So we've answered a few questions there. Thank you.
Can I just add, some schools do not offer triple science at all. So there are a number of schools where pupils can only do combined science and go on very successfully to complete A-levels in the 3 sciences.
Miss Gray, will the form be on Google Classroom today or tomorrow? It's tomorrow, is it, I believe?
Tomorrow at 8 AM is the plan for me to put that up there.
But you don't need to rush on to fill that form out. Take your time, make sure you watch the videos, speak to your teachers. Are we having a parents' evening, Miss Gray?
I believe there is a Year 9 parents' evening coming up soon. If anyone else knows the date, that would be good, because I don't.
It's after half term, so you may want to wait to make those choices until you've had the parents' evening for some of those subjects, particularly where you might want to talk to the teachers, like the triple science and things like that. So don't worry about rushing to complete that form, because as Miss Seymour said, as long as you do it by the 26th, it doesn't matter whether you do it tomorrow or on the 26th.
Just to interject there, Miss, as well, a lot of the students are currently doing their assessments at Key Stage 3, either this week or just after half term, and a report is going to go out. So you might want to wait to get some feedback from your teachers about how they're doing at the minute before you go and rush and make those decisions.
The next question is, do your grades have any influence over whether you get your first or second choice?
No, because we don't. The only subject where we look at grades is for triple science. Otherwise, all subjects are open to all pupils of all levels of ability. What we want is all pupils to make the best possible progress and to do as well as they possibly can in the subjects they have chosen.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ms. Seymour. Now, I think I've missed a question somewhere. I was asked, oh yeah, which examples are you using for your GCSE subjects? The different subjects will use different examples, and I believe that in the assemblies that will go on YouTube tomorrow, that will tell you details of the examples that they're using in general, or you can contact those teachers through Google Classroom.
It's definitely in the options booklet. The options booklet tells you all the different specs that they're doing.
So you can have a look at that there. Do they have to do a language?
We encourage all of our students to follow the EBAC, and that means that yes, the vast majority of our pupils will be studying a modern foreign language. There is a very small exception to that, and that is a small number of pupils who follow our support studies programme.
Okay. What is the difference? I'm not sure who, we haven't got an expert on this here. What is the difference between the ICT qualification and the media GCSE?
I believe the ICT qualification is much more about specific skills to do with using ICT, whereas media, oh, help me out here, people, please.
Media is about looking at the news and film and different marketing and all those kind of things. It's much more
creative, I believe.
Case studies that they have to look at and do project work on.
And I think,
yes, I think media focuses upon the mass media. So it might look at films, newspapers, posters. I think it might even look at music to some extent as well. It covers the sweep of what we would call as the mass media, and there's project work and so on, as Mrs. Guidis has said. Whereas IT focuses upon the use of information technology, as Miss Seymour has said. So they are very different subjects, very different indeed.
And I think the thing to do is the videos will be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So take a look at those videos. They're from the heads of department explaining the content of the course, what the expectation on the pupils will be. And I think that will give you a real good flavour of exactly what is included in those subjects. Someone has asked, is it just, do the parents have access to the form, or is it just on Google Classroom? I believe we're posting it on Google Classroom, but the expectation would be that parents and pupils would complete it together. Am I right, Miss Gray?
Yeah, that's correct. We just thought it was easier to do it on Google Classroom because I know not all parents, we have access to their emails, and quite often when we send things through email, they say they can't get to it, etc., etc. Whereas we know lots of the students have got access to the Google Classroom and are using that quite efficiently at the minute. So we thought we would maintain that process. The students got given a mock version of their options form this week. So a lot of them have already had a go at doing that. So they will know how it works. So yeah, so they'll be able to guide you through that. But again, if you want any specific guidance, then you're more than welcome to email the school and we can help you and support you with that. Not a problem.
The next question is probably coming from the fact that some of these subjects are subjects that pupils won't have ever studied before. So we're being asked, will the pupils be supported taking on these new subjects if they're not confident? So I would imagine if they're doing something like media that they've not studied before, is the process support them into learning that new subject?
Yes, indeed. They'll get support in each of the subjects, and the subjects that we're offering, our teachers have taught them for a number of years, so we're well versed in ensuring that the pupils do well and get all of that encouragement and guidance they need.
Okay, and then we've got this is probably for Miss Seymour. If you choose a subject that you later realise is too stressful or beyond your abilities, can you change it?
I would say, first of all, that none of the subjects are beyond pupils' abilities. All the subjects are designed to be offered for pupils of all abilities. We do get a very small number of pupils who within the first week or so realise that they may have made a mistake in their option choice. And if it's quite early in the term, we can have that discussion. And obviously, having made the decisions remotely this year, as last year, we have been a little bit more flexible about that. So yes, certainly within the first sort of half term, we can consider looking at having that discussion and swapping you over if that's the best thing for you. But I would like to say it's much better to take some time and really think about the option choices that you want to make, because even 1 or 2 weeks work in school, if you miss that first 2 weeks in a subject, it can be quite a lot of work for you to catch up on.
Then the next question we've got is, are the school hours still the same in year 10? The school hours are the same. At the moment, the school day for Key Stage 4, when we're in school, is slightly different because of our COVID safe measures, which means they start a little earlier and finish a little earlier. However, they still have 5 lessons a day and the full amount of lessons that the rest of the school has and that you'll be used to in Key Stage 3. The other thing that happens usually when they go into year 11 is that they'll often have what we call period 6, which is an additional lesson of learning in some subjects to boost pupils studying where they need that and help prepare them for the GCSEs. I don't know if anyone's got anything to add to that one. The next question I've got is, if we're going to study 2 lessons, why are we choosing 3? So I'm guessing this refers to the fact that you make a first choice, a second choice, and then a third choice, but you only get 2 of them.
Yeah, so
Yeah, sorry, Miss Seymour.
Sorry, go on. Do you want to answer that one?
I was just going to say, on the form, you're asked to do it in order of preference. So choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, and it does say reserve for choice 3 on there. The hope is that obviously most students will get their first 2 choices. That's what we want to do. But we do ask them to make a third choice if for any reason we're not able to offer the first and second choices. So, for example, if we have a subject that's really popular and gets filled up and it's oversubscribed, then we might need to go to that third choice in order to make that, which is why it's important we get those forms back in the 26 to help us make those decisions and look at those numbers, because it just helps us plan that little bit easier. So that's why we ask people to make that third choice. Obviously, as much as we can, we would like to offer the first 2 choices, but it's just in case we can't for whatever reason.
Ms. Gray, I think some pupils are asking about the test form that they did today. That was a test form, wasn't it? And it's not their choice.
Say
so
tested,
if they pick,
big letters.
so so if they picked history and they really want to do geography, that doesn't matter because that was just
Absolutely
a test.
not. No, absolutely.
Just
So
so
I
that
did
you
the
know
live
how to
assembly on
run the form.
Monday, and I did say this was just a test. It was more to make sure it worked from my point of view as well, and the technology went all right, which we did have a few hiccups of, so I'm glad that I did it. But it's also so you know what the form's like, then you are familiar with it. And also, if you do get that feeling, you go, oh my goodness, I didn't do that right, hopefully that'll give you time to think about things and not rush into making those decisions. I almost wanted you to do this quickly so you would understand that once you've done that, that's it. It's not easy for you to go back and change it. So I would rather you spend that time and wait until the 26th or close to the 26th in order to submit that, rather than rush and do that straight away and get that to us tomorrow or Friday, and then you regret those decisions that you make. So yeah, don't worry, there's no commitment on the one that you've just done. That was just for us to get an idea of how it was going to work.
Okay, and then we've had a couple of people asking whether or not we offer economics or business as a GCSE option. That's not one of our options at the moment, and I don't believe it's something that we would be looking to offer, Mr. Travis, at this point.
No, we always are, or we often ask, I'm not sure if we do on this form, Ms. Gray will inform me, is there a subject that we're not offering that you would be interested in taking? We always ask pupils to fill that in. But at the moment, it is not our intention to offer business studies or economics.
Yeah, just to confirm, so there is that on the options form that they can put down if there's any subjects that they want to offer. And I know that business and economics is something a lot of the year 9s have mentioned. I will just reiterate something that I've said and something that was mentioned earlier. They can go on to study subjects like business and economics at A level if that was something they want to do without having it as a GCSE. Every school does slightly different options depending on what their staffing is like. So the colleges will appreciate that and know that, and not put that into a hindrance for if they don't have the GCSE. They should be able to go and study that at their colleges if that's what they want to do. So don't feel they're at a disadvantage for not having done the GCSE.
Then thank you, Miss Gray. The next question is, if a student is struggling with the subject, will they get extra support? Of course, and that's where we talk about the period 6. We also do a lot of revision sessions. There's lunchtime revision sessions. There's always lots going on for year 10 and 11 to support them, to make sure that they're prepared for their exams. So yeah, and obviously if you've ever got any concerns throughout the year, then you can raise that with your form tutor or your head of year or their teacher. I'm not sure if anyone here will know this because it might be in the video. Does anyone know what percentage Cambridge National PE is practical and what percentage is written?
Let me try and have a quick look while you're talking through, and I'll see if I can find out for you.
Then I've got a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Seymour.
I was just going to say a lot of pupils who choose the Cambridge National PE think that they're going to spend all 5 option lessons doing practical PE, and that is not the case. There is quite a lot of writing, quite a lot of coursework to do with the Cambridge National PE course.
Thank you, Miss. What if a child wants to do triple maths?
We don't offer a triple maths course. We only offer the core GCSE in maths. We have in previous years in year 11 offered some pupils the ability to do a GCSE in further maths, and it may be if we have if that's something that's appropriate, that may well be offered, but we don't offer an additional maths course as an option.
Thank you, Miss Seymour. Someone's asking here, when will reports be given out? That will be after half term, and we'll write to you when we get back after half term with dates of parents' evening and when you'll receive the reports. There's a parent asking if parents' evening could be 7 or 10 minutes, not 5 minutes as it was for year 7. So someone's obviously had some experience there. We will have a look at that and see. Parents asking about what subjects would be good with certain careers. This one is a music career. I would suggest you have a look at the videos and then perhaps contact Miss Gray, who can then put you in touch with careers advice and the right people to give you that guidance there.
Yeah, Miss, just to reiterate, if you do want any careers advice, the students can complete the form on Google Classroom that's there for them, or alternatively, you can email the school at the office at Broomfield email address, and then we can organise that for you. Again, if you specific about what it is you're looking for, that will really help us prepare for that in order to get the right information to you as quickly as possible.
Getting another question here on when and how will the forms be available and accessed. So they will be put up on Google Classroom in the pupils' form groups tomorrow. So parents and pupils will be able to access those from tomorrow together through Google Classroom. Would an S6 E7 student be able to do triple science? Yep. What happens if an option is oversubscribed? How do you choose who gets to do it?
It's a bit of a logistic exercise, and we will do everything we can to try and offer pupils the options they've chosen. So for example, in the current year 10 group, we were oversubscribed for media, and we put on an extra class of media. So we actually have 3 classes studying media in the current year 10. So we will do everything we can to support pupils. It depends on the combinations of options that pupils have chosen.
Then if we've done a GCSE in our home language in year 7 or 8, do we still have to retake another language at GCSE?
If you have been studying Spanish during your time in Broomfield School, then yes, we would like you to continue to study Spanish.
And there are a few questions about, I think there's a few questions about parents with regard to the Spanish. What I would say is that if you have concerns about your child and doing Spanish, then speak to Miss Gray and have those conversations. As standard, the pupils will do Spanish. That's part of our curriculum, but there are rare occasions where we will look at that on a pupil by pupil basis. But there's a couple of questions there, so I would direct you to Miss Gray there. Does the media course cover digital marketing? I would direct you to the video there from Miss Bampanasta, because I'm sure she covers that very well. Where can we get the options booklet? It will be emailed to you tomorrow or tonight even, and it will be on the website tomorrow. Someone asking when will we be coming back to school? As soon as we know, we will tell you. Hopefully we'll find out from the 22nd of February, but we're as desperate to get back as you all are. What else have we got? Once we submit the form, do we get confirmation that you've received it? Yes, it's a Google form and it all goes through our system. So there will be an email that goes through to your child's email to confirm that we've received it. Who will be the media teacher? At the moment, we have 2 media teachers who are Miss Bampanasta and Miss Kadali, I believe. So it likely is it would be one of those. What will be in the PE option? I'm assuming you're meaning what will be in the PE lessons for the Cambridge National. Again, I would say have a look at the videos. Is it a guarantee we'll get our choices? No, as Miss Seymour has explained, it's not a guarantee. Someone saying they're asking questions and no one's answering. I think I have been answering yours, hopefully. But if you want to put them down again, I'm just scrolling down through all the questions. Let me just get back to where I was. Sorry, there's lots of questions coming through. There's more questions about the Spanish option. I would have a conversation with Miss Gray. The school offers Spanish, and that's what we expect all pupils to take as part of their EBAC course. And Spanish, having a language at GCSE, is part of what the government recognise as best practice for schools to offer, which is why we follow that pathway.
Also, if I may add to that, it's also universities find this very important as well, as do employers. To have it at GCSE, it's great if you just want to take it further, but to have it at GCSE is regarded by universities and many employers as very important indeed.
If we put our choices in the wrong order, can we change it? As Miss Seymour has said, once you've submitted the form, it's submitted. If you make some major mistake and you want to have a conversation with Miss Gray, she may be able to, before the deadline, look at opening it up and changing it. Once the deadline comes on the 26th, we cannot change it. Is it only set 1 that will be able to do triple science? I think we've answered that in terms of the grade that you would be expected to be working at the moment, haven't we, Miss Seymour?
Yes, but talk to your science teacher and ask your science teacher if they think it would be a good option for you.
After we make the choices, when will we start studying our new courses? That will be September. So GCSEs for year 10s at Broomfield start in September. When do we find out the results of our options choices?
Probably, it will certainly be sort of around about June time. So you will definitely get information on the options that you have been given. I would anticipate sort of during June, I would think, but we will let you know if it's going to be any later than that.
Someone asking about food technology being an option. Again, that's where you can put in the form if there's any subjects that we're not offering that you like us to consider, and we can look at interest in those subjects. If you are exceeding in maths, could you ask for extra maths? So I think, Ms. Seymour, that would come back to the further maths in year 11.
Yes, and that would be a conversation to have with your maths teachers, but it won't be offered as a separate option. That will be delivered as part of your maths lessons.
If they choose PE, can you go on to ICT? So I think what the question here is that if they do PE Cambridge National at GCSE and then they wanted to do IT post 16, would that be an issue?
I think you would still be able to go on and do post-16 courses. We have designed the curriculum offer that we give to enable pupils to be able to do the broadest range of subjects when they go on to sixth form. And many A-level subjects do not require you to take a GCSE in the subject to be able to progress onto that.
Okay, hang on, just bear with me, everyone. There's lots. Do we put our choices in order? I think, Miss Gray, you put 1, 2 and then a reserve, don't you?
Yeah, it does say first, second, third, but the first and second are not necessarily significant. If you want to put your preference in that order, then that's absolutely fine. But obviously we're going to try and offer the first 2 regardless of what they are and what order they are in. But yeah, if you have a strong preference, then I would suggest you put the top one as your first one, because we may look at that first and try and offer that as much as we can in order to try and meet what the students require.
We've got a couple of questions here which aren't relating to GCSE options. They're about current working and pupils not engaging at home. What I would say is if you've got any questions about our online learning, our online lessons, or how your pupils are managing at home, then direct them to their form tutor and Miss Gray in the first instance, or when you get your weekly pastoral call, have a chat with them. Obviously, we can't go through everyone's individual circumstances this evening. Someone struggling to choose between history or geography, can they do both? I think we've addressed that this evening. That might be something that you want to put down in the comments box, that you would like to be able to do both, and then that's something that we can look at. Where are the subject videos? The subject videos will all go live on YouTube tonight. Hopefully most of them will be live tonight. There might be a couple that will pop up tomorrow.
They're all in your child's Google Classroom in their tutor room. There is a folder called GCSE Options that has all the assemblies in there for them to access.
Are we going to do work experience? Yes, usually year 10 would do work experience in February. Obviously, this year's year 10 aren't able to do that. We would hope that this time next year, work experience will be back up and running. But obviously, we're very dependent on the times that we're living in with that. Couple of people asking if they have to move schools, what would happen to their choices? That would be a conversation with your new school if you were to be moving out of the area and going to another school, because different schools have different ways of doing things. So I don't think we can really support on that one. It would be a case of having conversations with those schools. If lockdown happens again next winter, what will happen to practical lessons?
If lockdown happens again next winter, then as we have done this year, pupils will have the opportunity to engage in as much of the work as they can. I know, for example, that in art, the art teachers have made sure that pupils have the resources that they need and are able to continue with their art coursework with guidance at home. I know that for practical subjects such as drama, I've sat in on drama lessons when pupils have been rehearsing for their monologue. So we will support pupils to the best of our ability to ensure that they make the best possible progress in those subjects.
Is art and design mostly practical? I would just say look at the videos again on that, and look in the options booklet, because that will give you the information on those, and speak to your art and design teacher that you've got currently to find out more about that. They'll be able to give you more detail. Questions about a 10th subject. So can they study 7 core, 1 triple science option plus 2 options?
No.
No, that's too many.
Triple science has to be one of their options if they want to do the triple science.
Okay, thank you. How much more new subjects could you do in sixth form? So I think they're asking what options are available at sixth form. I think that is a very wide question. There's so many different sixth forms out there and so many different opportunities.
Yeah, every college is going to be different in terms of what they offer. So my suggestion would be, if you have specific colleges in mind, that it would be a good idea for you to go and find out what they offer. Sorry, Miss Horman, you were trying to speak.
I think Miss Horman is...
No, that's fine, Miss. I wanted to say the standard is 3 options at A level. The standard is 3 options, and usually, but very rarely, a 4th one at A level studies. But all those questions and that can be answered in a careers meeting that Miss Gray has directed you to. So please book one, reserve one of those, because I think it will be a very good conversation to have.
There will be
if you're a beginner
so if I could just add, there will be many subjects that are offered in sixth forms and colleges that you will be able to do without having done the GCSE. You simply need good grades in all of your GCSEs. And then it opens up so much. For instance, sociology, psychology, law, business studies, economics, a very large number that many pupils will not have done at GCSE, but because they've got a good grounding in their GCSE subjects with good grades, they're able to go on and do these other subjects that often pop up as option subjects in schools. I mean, no school can offer every conceivable subject available. I mean, of course, there are certain subjects that you must have done, in which you must have done the GCSE and got a good grade. So if you're wanting to do English at A level, then the expectation is that you've got a good grade in English. And of course, all schools do English. If you want to do history at A level, then usually they would expect that you have done history and got a good grade in that at GCSE. So, but those subjects that are often regarded more as the option subjects more often than not always, but more often than not, you don't need the GCSE.
Mr. Travis, while you're talking about sixth forms, we've had a few questions about sixth form provision at Broomfield. I don't know if you want to go on to that one.
Yes, just briefly about this. At the moment, there isn't an intention of introducing a sixth form into Broomfield again. Now that may change. The governance may take a different view in a couple of years' time. But at the moment, there isn't an intention to open it. However, I would say, as I say to parents when they come and look at the school, indeed I may have said this to you, that having a sixth form is, in a very real sense, no disadvantage to, or certainly no disadvantage to the pupils of the school, nor to the school itself. There are many local authorities that in which they simply have sixth form colleges and discourage or don't allow in their own schools sixth forms. The advantage that this brings our pupils, your children, is that providing you get those good grades at GCSE, and it's important that you get those good grades, of course, then you have every subject, every sixth form, every college open to you. So in year 10, but particularly in year 11, you'll be exploring the sixth forms and colleges in and around Enfield, so that you can identify that school, that college that best suits you and offers the subjects that you want. It really is the advantage that every subject that is out there in all of these sixth form colleges is open to you. All that you need to do in order to gain entrance is meet the entry criteria, get the good grades. Now, that is far superior an offer to any offer that any single school, or indeed college, can offer. And therefore, that is one of the main advantages of not having a sixth form.
Thank you, Mr. Travis. Someone here asking what's the difference between a sixth form and a college. Sixth forms in general tend to be part of secondary schools. Colleges tend to be independent, but in actual fact, the main difference tends to be the subjects that they offer and the way that they operate. And it's something that we would recommend over the next few years as parents and pupils. You start researching the options available to your child, looking at if they want to go to university, what routes they want to take there, and start finding and gathering that information, much like you will have done when you picked your secondary school. And then, sorry, I just lost everyone. The final couple of questions I've got some questions about courses at college and at school. I think your best port of call is to contact Miss Gray and get some advice from a careers advisor on that element. And I think my final question I'm probably going to take this evening, because I'm aware that we've taken up lots of people's time, is what is a pass grade in GCSE?
Do you want me to answer that one?
Yes, please,
So,
Ms. Seymour.
GCSE grades now are graded from a grade 1 to a grade 9. A pass is a grade 1. What's called a level 2 pass is a grade 4, and that's equivalent to the old grade C at GCSE. So grade 4, grade C are about equivalent. Now the government say that a good GCSE pass is a grade 5. So in answer to your question, a grade 1 is a pass. You will have, if you achieve a grade 1 in a subject, you have a GCSE in that subject. A grade 4 is equivalent to the old grade C, and that's known as a level 2 pass. So if you are applying for a college course, for example, they might ask you to have level 2 pass in English and maths, and that means a grade 4. But the government define a good GCSE as grade 5 or above.
Thank you, Ms. Seymour. I think that's all of our questions. Mr. Travis, I'll hand back to you.
Lovely, thank you very much. And Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. We hope that you found our virtual options evening informative and enjoyable. And we think now that you should have all that you need to guide you through the options process. Please do look at those, that information that has been provided in Google Classrooms and elsewhere. So you've thoroughly explored the subjects to your satisfaction. And please then do ensure that you return the options form to us by the 26th of March. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at school. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.